They walked the talk. They've played battle. What was it called? I'm going to mess it up, Sandy.
Pinball battle ball.
Pinball battle ball at the end, and they play pinball battle ball, and then they're still excited to learn at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So we'll ask Miss Donna if she's played that. I'm really excited, but she now supports Kentucky teachers using digital media and PBS learning media to inspire creativity and learning. And you all also may remember Miss Amanda Wright, who's the director of education and outreach services at KET. She's a leader in digital education resources. She is also passionate about improving the lives of Kentucky's children through high quality professional development, family engagement, and high quality professional development. Those initiatives that promote kindergarten readiness, ongoing school success. She leads KET's education outreach team, sharing trusted educational content that has been central to KET's mission for more than 50 years. Ladies, we are so excited, like I said, to have you all. We don't just consider you presenters, we consider you family. So I'm going to stop talking, and we are so excited. I've looked at your slides. It is going to be a fantastic hour of learning. So thank you all for being with us.
Thanks, Wendy. We're really, really excited to be with you all today. We don't have one of our coworkers with us. She is on maternity leave in the last couple weeks of her maternity leave. Lauren Terry is our manager for K-12 education outreach. She'll be back in the office in January, and she is another fabulous resource for you here at KET. We'll include her contact information in the slides, but I just wanted to make you aware that we have another really great K-12 team member, and we'd love for you to reach out to her. Donna's going to share our slides and get us started, but we're really excited to be here and join you all today and share some of the KET resources that we have available for free to all of you.
All right, are those up for everybody?
Yes.
You see them and still hear everything? Good. All right. So yeah, thank you for having us. We're excited to be here. Like Wendy said, I was a classroom teacher for 27 years. An important note about Lauren that Amanda was just talking about, she was a former art teacher. So we really, as much as we love these resources and stuff, she's really our resident art expert. And we don't want to rush her maternity leave, but we are ready to have her back. But so if there's some questions on any resources that we can't answer, definitely reach out because Lauren is definitely our art expert guru. I was kind of a jack of all trades, elementary and middle school for 27 years. So you guys are the experts in art. We're just hoping to share some resources to maybe help take some things off your plate, make your life a little easier. And they're all free, which we know that is like the right price in public education right now. So happy to share these with you. So what we're going to start with today is just overall, we're going to talk about free KET resources. We're going to show you a range. We're going to focus mainly on K through 5, but a lot of these do range from grades K through 12, and even some lesson ideas and scaffolding you can use to incorporate these tools into your classroom. Before we get started looking at those resources, I want to touch base a little bit about how KET can support you in the classroom, because not everybody knows this. We're going to talk about the free educational resources, activities, curriculum that you can find online on PBS Learning Media and KET. But we also offer educator trainings and PDs like this session today. We have several more scheduled throughout the semester, and then we do our summer PDs in the summer. So look for that information when it gets a little closer to summer. And we provide free field trips and free workshops. We offer in-studio field trips for students. You can bring your class and students can come get a tour of our recording studio, learn all about the careers in that area, and then spend an hour in our media lab where we can do sessions on stop motion animation, green screen, video production, digital drawing, just a wide range of things we can do to incorporate and then tie it in with what you're teaching in your class. And if we're too far away from you and you can't come to us, we can travel to you. So we do book up fast. So if that's something you're interested in, it's on our website, or you can reach out. Our email will be on here, so you can reach out to us directly and we can help get you scheduled for a free field trip either here at the studio at your school. First thing we're talking about, PBS Learning Media. So if in the chat, if you want to put, like, if you've registered for a PBS Learning Media account, that would be the first place I would start if you haven't. Those are completely free. What you're going to find when you go up to register, it'll be in the top corner. Sign up for a free PBS Learning Media account. And because you're in the state of Kentucky, when you scroll down to the bottom, you're going to find all the award-winning series and collections created here at KET that you can use in your classroom. You also will have access to, I think it's over 30,000 resources, ranging all subject areas, all grade levels, age, that parents can access, students can access, teachers can access. Very multimodal. There's videos, there's lesson plans, there's classroom activities and curriculum that you can access. It can be overwhelming, so you can go to the search bar there, and let's say you want to look at visual art. And when you click on that, it's going to, one, take you to Visual Arts Toolkit, which is something we're going to talk a little more in depth about. But it's also going to take you to all the different resources on PBS Learning Media for that category. You can filter down your search by grade, resource types. This will also let you know what grade level that resource is geared towards. And then the SM means that there's support materials for each of those, and we'll look at those as we look at some specific resources today. Oops, wrong button. PBS Learning Media also has a tutorial page on here. What's great about this tutorial page is, like I said, there's over 30,000 resources on PBS Learning Media, so it could be a little overwhelming. And the one thing teachers don't have is lots of time just to filter through a video and find what they need. So the great thing about the tutorial is, let's say you just need to know how to set up a class roster on PBS Learning Media. You can go right to this video. It's 4 minutes, 25 seconds long. It's going to walk you right through how to set up that class roster. Maybe someone's told you that you can build lessons in PBS Learning Media and create folders, but you don't know how to do that yet. So you can go to that 3-minute, 57-second video on how to set up the lesson builder, and then you can watch the one on how to create folders. And so you can just watch directly what you need to watch to learn how to navigate PBS Learning Media. There's even an overall video down here that just gives you an overall guided tour of PBS Learning Media that's under 5 minutes. So a great resource to use as you get started if you've never used PBS Learning Media.
I'll also add, Donna, these tutorials are fabulous, but also if you have additional questions or want to get a little bit deeper into something, you're always welcome to reach out to us, and we are happy to provide that one-on-one or in a group, a larger group.
Thank you. Yeah. And feel free, you guys, throw something in the chat if you have questions. I tend to, I get nervous and I go really fast and I talk really fast. So if you need me to slow down, I'm used to being a classroom teacher, and you got to get a lot of information in a short amount of time, right? So feel free to be like, girl, slow down. And feel free to pop a question there in the chat. This next slide just shows you, as I was talking about on the PBS Learning Media, you can set up folders. What we've done here, and you guys will get a copy of these slides, is we've gone ahead and made some subject-specific art folders. So when you click on that, let's say you are trying to, implement some math in with your art resources, or you're trying to implement art in with your math lessons if you're just, a general education teacher. This has already gotten some different resources plugged in here that are going to fit those math standards as well as fit those art standards that you're trying to teach. Same thing for reading and writing, science, humanities. It's also great for you to see how that looks when you're creating folders. Those folders are great as a classroom teacher to create if you're planning with teammates, maybe you're planning across grade levels, you're planning across schools. They're also really great for sub-plans. You can, as you're exploring resources, go ahead and create a folder on PBS Learning Media for sub-plans. And as you find video and resources, you can throw those in there. So lots of different uses for those different folders that you can create. We're just getting you started with some subject-specific art resources there that you can kind of explore, and you can continue to create your own and add to it.
And I'll also add that you all will have access to all of these slides, and everything's linked out for you so that you can go back and check these out. We've tried to make it as easy as possible for you.
Okay, so we'll start by talking about our arts collection. On our KET site, which is linked on the PBS Learning Media, we've got all of our arts resources kind of in this one spot, arts collection, right? And different tools, videos, activities, curriculum that you can use in your classroom. We'll go through several of these more specifically, but again, it's something you can go through depending on the age group you teach, the subject area you teach, and how you want to work it in, how you might want to use those resources. So we're going to explore everyday art foundations. I think I've got elementary teachers in here with me, right? And so this one is geared more towards those foundational concepts of art. What it does, it presents those foundational concepts that is going to meet those national and those state standards that you've got to teach. We know we can't just throw a video on. If we're going to put a video on in our classroom, right, it's got to be standards-based. It can't be an hour-long video. It needs to be short. We got to keep the kids' attention. And so these are all very little bite-sized videos. They're 2 minutes, some are even less than 2 minutes long, engaging graphics, fun to watch, so they'll capture your students' attention while giving them that content they need. One thing I wanted to point out about what you're going to see when you're on PBS Learning Media is you're going to see down here at the bottom, one, you're going to see the station. These are created here at KET, so you're going to see KET there. You're going to see the grade or the age ranges that it's suitable for. And here it's going to let you know that there's support materials. And then there are some resources. These don't have any that are in Spanish, but it would have that marked if it's also in Spanish. We'll kind of click on one, just kind of give you a preview of what it looks like. Over here, you're going to see in the teacher view, you've got support materials. So you've got teaching tips on what you can look at before you teach it to your students. You've got discussion questions that you can use or put in a Google form to use with your students. You've also got the vocabulary that's going to meet those state standards that you've got to cover, and words that are going to be used throughout the video that you can make sure you're pre-teaching to your students before you show the video. We'll take just watch a few seconds of this one, just so you can see how cute they are.
Did you know that there's a fancy art word for when you stand in front of a painting you love, dance to a favorite song, gasp while watching a big scene in a play, or even walk away from a statue you think is kind of boring? Hey, I've seen a lot of them today. It's called responding. Responding is like hearing what you think an artwork is saying, and then answering back, whether it's out loud, like telling a friend you love a book.
I think my favorite part of that video is when she says, there's something you find boring. And he's like, I've seen a lot of those today, because a lot of kids, it just, all these videos, they do a great job of, I feel like, talking in a way that kids will be like, oh yeah, I feel that way, and then they get into talking about how that's okay. Saying you didn't like it is a way of responding. So that one's on responding to art. We've got other great ones. What is creativity? How do we generate ideas? How do you plan out artwork? How do you edit artwork? And all the way down to presenting, performing, and producing art. And these are resources that we're continuous to
till 5.
create and add more to. Are there any questions? Okay. All right. So that's our Everyday Arts Foundation, which is more suitable for our littles. Our outdoor art collection, has anybody been to Burnham Forest? Put a little hands up in the chat. So these 6 videos were created at Burnham Forest, which is great because for some schools, that's too far of a field trip to take. It's around Elizabethtown area. So you can take your students to Burnham Forest, and you can also feel confident that you're tying in both art standards and some STEM related connections with this series. There it goes. So this ranges everything from looking at engineering concepts with math to character development, storytelling, where it talks about Thomas Dambo's Forest Giants. This one's really cool because it gives an overview of how he created these forest giants and where they're at all over the world, including in Kentucky. So it's great for students to be able to see that and connect the world around them. These great art pieces that can be found all over the world, and they have them in their home state. In addition to that, they have all of these different STEM related content tied into it. We've got recycling, we've got metamorphosis, we've got engineering, sound, science. So this one talks about the history, and the story of the forest giants, but then it also talks about how they're designed to decompose, and then goes into recycling and how that relates to just taking care of the earth. So they're a great resource to use if you want to tie in some outdoor art into what you're using in your classroom.
Hey, Donna, would you mind to go back and
Yeah.
show how like the responding fits into like where the standards are for each of these pieces? That's a really important piece to highlight.
Yes. So let me go back to, I should have brought that up. Thank you for reminding me. So anytime you click on any of the resources, underneath it, it's going to give you like an about, it's going to give you a brief description. And then here it's going to have the standards. Okay. So that's going to tell you your academic standards that this video, that the discussion materials, vocabulary are going to hit. So you can have those already, your state standards, your national course art standards. If you're like, oh, this is great, this really is what I need more like this, you can click on that link right there. And then that's going to give you a link to all resources across all of PBS Learning Media that's also going to fit that standard. So that's where you can start building different lessons around those standards using the resources on PBS Learning Media.
Also add that that's another reason that it's really important that you go ahead and create an account in PBS Learning Media, because it is going to link you to those Kentucky standards specifically. So that's a really important piece. They're not going to email you and spam you. They're going to send you an email maybe once a week with highlights and important information and updates. So it is really important that you go ahead and get that account set up with your information to connect you to Kentucky.
Also point out, it's really easy to share this stuff with your students. If you're using Google Classroom, there's a link directly that will allow you just to quickly share it with your students. If you don't use Google Classroom, you can just get a link that you can post to students if you're using Canvas or you're using just their email to send that to them. Great, so let's talk about Artsville. So Artsville is going to be more focused on dance, drama, music, and visual art concepts. You're going to go through your different elements of each of those. For instance, they're going to talk about different instrument families or elements of dance or different styles of visual arts. And again, I'll play just a little clip of this so you can again see just the kind of engaging just graphics and script that go along with these cute little resources.
Welcome to Artsville, a city all about expression, like at the gallery, where artists express love for their pets at the Dog Art Show. So many types of dogs, and so many types of art used to depict them. Some are two-dimensional, or flat, paintings and collages. Others are three-dimensional sculptures. These pieces have depth and can be viewed from all sides. The styles of art are diverse too. This one's realistic. It looks like a real dog. But this one's abstract. It shares features with a real dog, like a tail, but still takes a totally unique form. And this one's in the middle. It's expressionistic. Certain parts of the dog are exaggerated or emphasized to convey the artist's feelings or ideas.
And again, these videos are just short, little bite-sized videos. As you can see, they're not meant to be like an entire curriculum. They're just a tool that you can add into what you're already doing. They're great for hooks at the beginning of a lesson. They're great if you need something in the middle of a lesson. They're also great as a review. So again, they're designed so that you can use them to fit the need in your classroom. Again, over on the left side, you're going to see ways that you can easily share it with your students. You've got background material. If you're a brand new teacher, you've never taught this before, this is really helpful to give you some background so you feel a little more confident in what it is you're getting ready to present to students. And then it's going to give you, this one gives you a different activity to do with students that you can prepare. It's also, again, got the vocabulary, which is great because sometimes we get zooming into a lesson and we forget to pre-teach our vocabulary before. So this is a good reminder to pull that up, take the time, pre-teach that vocabulary, and review it as you go. Again, down here, you're going to have a brief description of what it's about, and then you're going to have all of your standards. So you can see how you can fit that into what your curriculum is. So very cute resources. This right here where you see the ES, that means it's also available in Spanish on those. So any questions on Artsville? And that's geared more towards for 3rd through 8th grade students. But again, you know your kiddos, kind of take that as a range. You probably do it with some 2nd grade, maybe even above to some 9th grade. All right, one of the last things I'm going to talk to you about is the arts toolkits. These we've had in our KET repertoire for a while. They are resources that are going to offer you a variety of multimodal toolkits that you can use in your classroom in the areas of music, media arts, dance, and the visual arts. You're going to find videos, you're going to find lesson plans, you're going to find classroom activities. It's designed so it can help you teach creation, teach performance analysis, and all with that cultural context that students need. If we look at the music one, it's going to explore like the history and elements of music. These are fun, like new ways with old music, and then old music for new ear samplers. So getting in those some of the things that we, sang when we were kids, getting that back in just in a new way in our classroom. Some music basics. There's different interviews, videos, performances that you can watch just to explore all of the history and elements of music. With media arts, that's going to be divided into 3 sections. You've got in the classroom, creating media arts, and media artworks. So through the media art toolkit, you and your students can watch videos and find tips on how to create media and learn about other artists and how they create and produce the media. Dance is going to go through the different elements of dance. They're going to see live performances. They're going to see interviews, different cultures, and how to teach and do dance performances. And then your visual arts is going to explore all the elements of the arts and the principle of design, as well as the design process from planning all the way to final creation. And again, with each of those, you're going to see if it was a KET resource or from a different, if it came from a different PBS affiliate, that would be there. So that's what that means when you see that. It's going to tell you what grade levels it's most appropriate for, and it's going to tell you if it has any support materials that you can use with it. And all of those are just ready, one-stop shop for you to access, use as you're planning, and filter it out to your students. And then the Arts for Every Classroom is a toolkit we have that's really our art-based strategies to help improve focus, collaboration, and engagement. So things we can do in our classroom to help build those classroom community, to help our students understand how to express themselves, not just artistically, with things they like to do artistically, but like with their emotions, and how they can use art to regulate their emotions, how they can use art to understand and be empathetic, how they can use art to really just expand and explore more about themselves and more about their classmates. One of my favorite activities on our Arts for Every Classroom resource is How Art You Feeling? And you'll have access to this, but this here is a great activity. We've used it with adults in professional development. It's a lot of fun. And really what it does, it's going to walk you right through how to do it with your students, or if you're doing it with fellow teachers, you can do that. It gives you instruction, and essentially what you're doing is you're going to partner up. So if you're doing it with your students, have your students partner up, and they each have a sheet of paper, and player one is there. We'll do what we call a full systems check. And player one is going to ask, explain how they're feeling, and they're going to draw it on a piece of paper, but they keep it covered. so that player 2 can't see it. And then after player 1 finishes their drawings that go with all of their feelings and emotions at that moment, then they're going to keep it face down. And then player 2 is going to ask player 1, like, hey, well, how are you feeling? And without showing the artwork, player 1 is going to tell all of the feelings that they just drew about. And so then player 2 has to now, in their drawing, they're going to draw what player 1 just expressed, those feelings. And after player 2 finishes, they'll both share their artwork. And it's kind of fun to see if players 2 artwork matches with players 1, and just like, how well were you listening, or how well do you understand those feelings and emotions? So it can be a great way to branch off discussions about, are we really paying attention to how we're feeling and how we can accurately describe or show those emotions, and then how we listen and empathize with how other people are feeling their emotions. So those are some examples of some fun activities that you can find in the Arts for Every Classroom resource on PBS Learning Media and KET.
So Donna has shared with you the bulk of a lot of our art resources that are available. I'm going to share with you a couple other specific projects and resources that we've been working on that are related to the arts. If you love the slides here that you're seeing today, I know the cat was really funny. Again, I can't express to you how much we love and miss Lauren. She has created all these slides. So this just gives you a little taste of her talent and her eye for creativity. But I also want to talk about another project that Lauren had a huge hand in. You all know that cursive handwriting is back in the curriculum this year, and so KET had a very old, very outdated cursive resource that lived on our KET website. Even though it was very old, we're talking like early 80s resources, it was still one of the most used resources on our website. But we wanted to bring something new and creative and fresh perspective to cursive handwriting. So we have created a resource called Cursive Connection, and it supports cursive instruction in the classroom. But I wanted to go ahead and show you a couple of the videos, and you'll see why. Cursive handwriting is an art form in its own, I believe. But each one of the letters has a stop motion animation that goes along with it. Lauren created all of these stop motion animations. So she created the artwork, did the stop motion. And so that's something that we use as an example with students when we're talking with them here at KET to kind of really make those career connections with the arts. So Lauren has taken her passion for arts and has worked in a classroom as an art teacher, and now has made the transition to working here at KET, sharing those resources, but also creating resources. We also often talk about, when folks visit us here at KET, career connections to our production, to our business office, all across KET, because we do want folks to know how, the careers here that we offer. So I'm going to show you just a real short example. You'll see the stop motion animation, and then it'll roll into the cursive handwriting tips and tricks and opportunities to practice. So we'll watch the stop motion animation part.
The letter A. A stands for alligator. The alligator amazed us with his accordion. Ready to write?
That just kind of gives you a chance to kind of see how art is used in the everyday world to create the educational resources that we create here at KET. If you're interested in finding out more about Cursive Connection or sharing out with other folks, you can visit the KET website. Again, you'll have a link here. These slides are all linked for you to check out. Another creative outlet that we have here at KET is our KET Young Writers Contest. This is an annual contest that we host. We had over 1,000 entries last year from across the state. We also get entries from across the nation on occasion, which is really cool. But it is open to K through 12 students. with the caveat of our illustrated story category. Pre-K students are also able to enter a submission into that category. And so we have illustrated story, poetry, short story, graphic novel. So again, you can see these really great connections to the arts, the illustrated story, the graphic novel. But we have a new category this year, which is persuasive writing. This category is specifically for students in 3rd through 12th because we know that's when most of the persuasive writing is happening. We have a toolkit that goes along with this. We love a good toolkit here at KET. And so it includes writing examples. It includes the scoring rubrics. We really want folks to know what we're scoring these pieces on. And it's all free. So check it out. I love the graphic novel one. It has some really great resources. It shares like what the different bubbles mean when you see your character having a thought. I didn't realize that there were different bubbles that belonged with different sentiments in graphic novels. So it goes into all of the details of how a graphic novel can be put together. It gives you examples. It gives you printouts where your students can practice. And it's really just a great cross-curricular activity for students. So check out those toolkits. They are very helpful. Another really great fun fact about our Young Writers Contest, we also work with pre-service students at colleges and universities across the state to help us judge these. So we want those pre-service students to have the opportunity to get real-world experience with students' work, using rubrics to score and look at pieces. And so we work with Western Kentucky University, Campbellsville, University of the Cumberlands, so lots of different colleges and universities here in the state. If you'd like to see some of the previous winners from the KET Young Writers Contest, we host those on our website. So these young writers become published authors. We also ask them if they're interested. They can record themselves reading their stories, and then we include that in the books. So we love showcasing student work on our website. So we're going to show you just a real short clip of a previous winner of one of our poetry winners. So this is called The Ballad of Little Chick.
The Ballad of Little Chick. It begins with a little egg. Some are long, some short, some white, some brown, some are freckled, others smooth. 3 weeks pass, the chick turns. She stretches out her beak. Pip! She breathes in the fresh air and takes a little rest. She wakes ready to begin and cracks open the shell. One strong push, she is free. The hard work brings more sleep. Her feathers are dry. She's fluffy and warm. Little chick has soft yellow feathers and smooth orange feet. A whole new world. She sees brothers and sisters, black, brown, and yellow. Mother hen coos softly. The story is not complete. It is bigger than an egg. More wonders to see, more adventures outside the shell.
I just love that. It just makes me happy every single time I see it. Our kids are so creative, and this is just a really great opportunity to show their work. So if you'll visit the KET website, it's ket.org/Young Writers Contest. You can check that out. Again, this is all linked here in these slides. So just another opportunity to showcase your students' work.
I always say they're going to be writing anyway, right? So, and there is prizes, cash. So first place does $100. So, in each category, right, Amanda? They're still doing that?
Yeah, I don't know that the amounts have been determined for this year.
Oh, okay. So that's what it used to be. So we always say, you're going to write anyway. So, but you get the privilege of being a published author and a certificate. So it's just a great way for them to be able to show their work.
All right. Other things that we want to share with you, Donna mentioned earlier our KET Media Lab, but I just wanted to give you a little bit more information. Our Media Lab is located here on site at KET. We do offer those field trips here. Donna mentioned some of the sessions that we offer, like green screen and stop motion. But again, that studio tour is a really neat opportunity for students to get to see a live working studio. How often do you have that opportunity? And again, we really incorporate a lot of the conversation about careers that are available here at KET. So you can book a Media Lab workshop on graphic novels or illustrated stories if you wanted to do that. Maybe your students want to write their piece and then move it into a stop motion animation. We can also, work with you to get that kind of workshop set up. But again, we know that's not always an option for everyone to come to KET. So our outreach specialists do come out into schools and do those types of workshops. So just reach out and we'll see about availability and try to get that scheduled with you. I don't have anything else to add there. Our KET education outreach team is versatile. They are a joy to work with. We really enjoy getting out and talking with teachers, talking with students. We love coming and sharing at your PLC meetings. We love sharing at your staff meetings. If there's any way that we can help spread the word of these free resources, we're in. So just contact us and let us know. We'll work with our schedules and see, but please don't hesitate to reach out. We like talking with you all and sharing all these great resources.
Yeah, and I noticed in the chat, just to jump in, somebody had said, like, what about Media Lab visits? Like, what are those costs? And it's all free. And that's the fun thing about our job is we get to say free a lot. We can come to you, and but that's also why we book up really fast too, because the word gets out. And like right now, I think we're booked up to like March or April already for the semester. So we love to travel to other schools. We love to travel across the state and visit. So just reach out. You'll have our email, and we can look at the calendar and work with you on what it is you might want to work on, whether it's stop motion, green screen animation, or digital drawing. And we can like even try to tie it in with like some type of curriculum, some project that maybe you have a culminating event, and green screen or stop motion would work really well. We love to tie it in so that it doesn't feel like it's something in addition to what you're doing. It ties in with what you're already doing to make the learning that you're already doing with your students more meaningful.
And the caveat to free is that you do have to get yourself here.
Oh,
unfortunately,
yes.
We don't have funding available for, for transportation for our field trips, but that's the only cost.
That is the only cost. But for us to come to you,
that's right.
Yeah, it's all good.
Great. So more great resources from Lauren Terry. She has created slides for you that you can access if you want to go ahead and get started on some of this in your own classrooms. So there's slides on stop motion animation. There's slides on green screen. And so she has made these. She's got them here. And they're free to use. They are ready for you to go and take and use in your classroom tomorrow. So take a look. If you, of course, any questions that you have or any follow-up that you wanted to do with us, we're happy to kind of, drill down on any of that. But these are just really great tools for you. If you've not ever used stop motion animation, the instructions are there, so you can test it out and practice and get ready to use it in your classrooms ahead of time. So it's just an amazing resource that Lauren has worked on over the years to get ready for you all. Another fun one, if you have availability, she's even created slides on VR. So that's always a really interesting topic. We did VR one year at STLP as an activity for students, and it was so much fun. It is a lot of work, but the kids loved it. We have an app that's it's an art app, so students could draw in their own world, different, whatever they felt led to draw art-wise that day. So it was really a fun day, but it just shows you the wide variety of resources and things that we're working on here at KET. If there are resources that you need, if there are topics that you need help on, we are happy to have those conversations. We are always looking for what's the next resource that we can make that can help teachers in Kentucky. So any feedback that you have on resources that you need, if you need more, resources like the Artsville resources or more, resources like the Everyday Art, let us know, because we are always, like I said, looking for the next thing that we can make to help make your lives and our students' lives easier and better. All right.
And these are just some more resources, again, that Lauren has created, that she's providing access for you to go ahead and have so you can explore. So as you're looking at using these different tools in your classroom, you've got some background information, you've got tutorials, everything that we do in the Media Lab, you have access to here. So just play around with those, especially if you've never done those before. Be something that kind of help you feel a little more comfortable diving into doing that and introducing it to your students.
Are there questions? Are there any things that you are curious about, maybe on PBS Learning Media, that we could look up real quick and show you? Any thought as to resources that you might want to suggest that we would consider, creating new resources for? Opening up the floor to you all. All right,
I know somebody had asked about doing workshops in the summer. And so traveling to schools during the summer. And we do a lot of traveling in the summer. We have different conferences and things that we attend and have tables at, and do presentations. So if there's something your district is planning as far as professional development that you'd like us to look at participating in, definitely reach out to us and we can see if we can coordinate something to help you out in the summer.
We also, if you are working in an after or out of school summer program, if you're hosting, one-day events in your community, reach out about those too, because we like to come out and do those types of things too and can provide some additional support. If we can't be there, we're also happy to send some things. We have flyers and handouts and things that you might find valuable to share with your students and families.
Are you guys going to be at the summer thing with Wendy and them at KEDC, or
I don't know. Are we?
Dave,
I'm kind of curious.
Dave, you beat me to it. I was just making myself a note to make sure I contact them about our summer conference, because we had not officially solidified that date. So don't worry, I'm already going to reach out to them to make sure that we have them on their calendar. So,
we're on each other's calendar.
Each other's.
Yes. Yeah, I worded that completely wrong, but yes, we're going to reach out and make sure they're with us again this summer.
I like the storybooks that you guys are kind of, doing kind of like the art, and that it's kind of like I had some kids in the past who like the comics, and they, and I never thought about the different types of bubbles you would use, like the thought bubble,
right?
Speech bubble, or the action bubbles and stuff. Kind of reminds me of Roy Lichtenstein from Ohio State, that did, the different Wham paintings in the National Gallery and stuff. So, so I kind of think about that when I think about, those bubbles that you see.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as you can see, there is so much that KET offers to Kentucky educators, and that is why we consider them such a valued partner and treasured friend, not just of Renaissance, but of Kentucky educators everywhere. And I think if you are in education and in Kentucky and elsewhere, I mean, they're known, like they mentioned, nationwide. If you do not have them in your lesson plans for this week, I think Carla said it best when she said she's already planning on using the KET site. That's what we want. And I know that we talked about this early on. Unfortunately, this is kind of, we're having discussions about this grant kind of phasing out, but we're wanting to put partners in front of you that, as we talk about like sustainability, what does this look like after grant funding ends? The KET is one of those people that will be there because they do offer so many wonderful, amazing free things for Kentucky educators. So we're going to keep doing our due diligence on the on the KEDC side to look for ways that we can continue funding, but we're putting people in your paths that offer this amazing, wonderful resources that are, so many of these things are free for you. So thank you all. Thank you, ladies, for being here and offering such amazing things for our educators that are free. And also, I will speak to that you're offering and looking for suggestions for ways to make, add input and ways to continue to make education wonderful for Kentucky teachers. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thanks for having us. And definitely, if you guys have questions as you're navigating PBS Learning Media and everything, just email us, reach out. We're happy to help.
Absolutely. And be looking for an email from me about our summer conference dates. So yeah, thank you so much. I think we do have a couple more sessions. So be looking for some more sessions from our dear friends at KET. So if you all have any questions for me specifically about the grant or anything, feel free to stay on. Otherwise, make sure you complete the evaluation. I did put that link in there. And I agree, Crystal, this was so helpful and so many resources that you can implement in your classroom tomorrow if you wanted. So thank you for that.
The writing part that you were talking about, the incursive part, do you all have that on your website where you can, teachers can go and link to that? Because I was going to forward that to my principal, because we're a K through 12 school.